Kimi,
Yes.
how you going?
Good. I was very hungover over the weekend.
Why is that?
I won the champion.
Whiskey Championships. Amazing. Australian Malt Whisky Tasting Championship 2025 winner, Kimi Kim. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Ioannidis, SMWS Australia. So, big day.
Very big day.
Very big day.
Weekend. Very big hangover.
Yeah. 11 out of 12 score. 8 out of 8, 2 out of 3, 1 out of 1.
Could have been 12 out of 12. Very sad.
You know what? There's always 2027.
Next year.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, given that you taste so many whiskies in your line of work, how did you go about training for this? Like, were there gaps that you knew you had to fill, that ones you revisited that you hadn't tried in a while?
I'm not gonna lie, half of the whiskeys there, I don't think I tried in like the last 3-5 years. Because working with Skin Element, I'm such a lucky gal. I get to try so many different whiskeys, but like 90% of them are independent bottlings.
Yep.
So, out of the 12. And I don't think I've ever tasted anything Tom and Hill unless it was IB.
Yeah, of course.
So I think like the way I trained myself was study about distilleries. Because each distilleries have a very distinguished or very specific, unique flavor that they do. And then match that with my own sensory memory tasting note, I would say. And then when you see this and that, I'm like, okay, what kind of whiskey do I make? What do I remember from this? What do I like? What did I not like? And then I think I started from that.
Okay, so you had your little mental notebook.
Yeah.
Going through everything. Okay, and did you, so a week before you released the top 50 sort of pre-list, did you do any Blitz training in that last week? Did you go through them, or did you just think,
I did a few because I knew I had a few different samples in my house cabinet somewhere.
Yep.
So I had, 8 of them at home, and at Whiskey Element they had like 15. So I tried like 4 of them in here, and then knows a lot of different whiskey while I was working.
Yep.
And then I taste like a few different ones at home before the champs as well. So it was a good little reminder of like what it was like. And I was shocking. I was like, Yamazaki DR. I was like, this is not how I remember. Same thing with the Highland Park 12 as well. Same thing as Glenfiddich 12 and like a lot of different whiskies. So I was like, this is how I remember you, but you're like this. Oh.
Palates change.
100%. Because like Highland Park 12 and Highland Park 18 was one of the very first whiskey I tasted. 6 years ago when I started joining a hospitality/whiskey industry.
Yep.
And I was like, my palate compared to that and now, wow.
And you came from fashion.
Yeah.
Why the jump?
So I was a fashion PR and marketing. I'm a certified stylist as well for 6 years.
That makes sense.
And then my partner back in the time was massively into whiskey. And then I feel like because like when it comes to whiskey, the more you know, the you more enjoy.
Yep.
And I'm a little nerd. I love studying. I love learning. And then I was like, the more I know, the more I can enjoy. And then there's so many things to learn every day as well about whiskey. So I think I got fascinated and I was like, well, I'm gonna take a gap year from my work anyway. And then I think that I fell in love with whiskey a little bit too much. And I left fashion.
Yeah, fair enough. Beautiful. And so Champs has been going on since 1989. At what point did you know that, obviously not in 1989, but in the last few years, since you've been, in the hospitality industry, I mean, you were around in 2023 when we did our last Champs. Is that sort of, did you see it and you're like, I'm going to do that next time?
100%. Like last Champs, I think that's not too long after I joined Whiskey Element.
Yep.
A couple of my co-workers and a few of my industry friends joined that as well. And I was like, I'm still doing it next year because it's basically you're challenging yourself and then hanging out with your friend, drinking whiskey, having a party, all in once.
Yeah.
Exciting. So I think like since last Champs, I was like, well, I'm definitely going to do it. And then when I knew it was in Melbourne, booked.
Yeah, first one in Melbourne.
I know, how
huge,
exciting.
and I think it all went well. Great venue, and as you said, it's just competition aside, the competition's almost just there. It's the party that everyone loves.
Like it's I get to see all my industry friends from like Tasmania, Sydney, Brisbane, or like here and there
Yep.
that I met through Instagram.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really does bring everyone together. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
exactly. And I was like, oh my god, I finally get to see you, or like we share this, or we talk about like, have you tried this, or have you tried that? And it's just a competition, but in the bigger frame, it's a really good party where everyone enjoys, I don't know, like mingling,
Yeah.
but also challenging yourself at the same time.
Yeah, agreed. Speaking of partying, maybe not the right term, but do you want a dram? It's, yeah, it's almost 12.
Breakfast whiskey?
78.92, the official Champs bottling. Thought
Oh, the big yumbo.
seemed suitable.
It was a bloody big yumbo.
Just a little breakfast pour.
And I haven't eaten yet.
Neither, unless coffee counts. Coffee counts, right?
Always.
Yes. The, I mean, look, 11 out of 12 is an incredible score, So I'm curious now, having done it once, knowing, I guess, how it all works, what would you change in the lead up next time or on the night, for 2027 Champs?
I don't think I'm gonna change anything how I did personally for myself.
Yeah.
And then I wrote a little thingy that's gonna be next outing as well for all the tips and what I did for the champs for anyone who's gonna be preparing for champs year after next year.
Yeah.
So basically what I did is when I saw the list before I taste anything, I gave myself a couple minutes, look at the list of whiskey, try to think of like, what do I know of this distillery? What kind of whiskey do they make? What kind of flavor do I remember? How would I distinguish from this and that? So I had a little bullet points of each distillery in my head, I guess, where I can like visit
Yep.
rather than straight jump into the whiskey and tasting it. And then I think I'm the person who has a better nose and palate. I can nose and then get more aromas and then figure out whiskey more than how I taste.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how, but
It's a process that works for you, That's
Yeah.
what matters. Nice.
yeah, because some of my coworkers have an amazing palate. Like they can detect some grains, what kind of grain went through that, what kind of cask, or even the yeast and this and that. Me, no. Probably better nose, but anyway.
That's fine. I mean, there is something I did want to ask you about, and I'll throw the photo up here. It's something I've seen you do so many times, and I mean, I know so many other people do it, but it's the I call it the Kimi the Kimi Swirl, because every time, and even when I'm just taking photos, just seeing you do this. What's tell me about it.
I feel like it's just became one of my habit now.
Okay.
I learned from Lucky actually, because I've seen Lucky doing it a lot of times, and I ask him why.
Yeah.
Because especially whenever we taste whiskey for training purpose, we only taste like 5 mils or like 7 mils.
Yeah.
And then by doing this, it's basically you're coating your glass with a whiskey to the very top. And imagine if you have this much, you don't really have to do it because it's full, it's that.
Yeah.
But if you have like 5 mils, you want to get a maximum of everything.
Yeah.
And then also to, I guess, remove all the unwanted flavors and you probably can get from the glass as well. Because sometimes when I smell the glasses, like you can get detergent smell or, I don't know, like some unwanted smell. And if I want to fully focus on whiskey, just by doing this, I coat my glasses with whiskey till the very like on the top where I can nose better, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, of course, maximize the surface area of the liquid. Does make sense. If there are, I know there's the article coming out soon in September our turn, but if you had any tips for someone wanting to compete in Champs 2027, especially someone coming from a hospitality background, what would you say?
Start a distillery. That is very important. Start a distillery. Know what kind of whiskey they make, because sometimes knowing what kind of, like let's say what kind of malt goes into their blend can be another answer. The main thing is don't taste straight away. What I did was I didn't taste any of the whiskey. I started to nose and then I realized the first and second whiskey was peated, so I skipped through it and then started from third.
Yeah.
And then I finished nose everything very briefly, 3 to 5 seconds, and wrote out the first impression. And I'm like, what kind of fruit is it? What kind of sherry is it? And then wrote a number next to each other. Like, let's say next to Glen Grant, 5 question mark, 7 question mark. And then I go to the next whiskey and I finish nosing everything. And then I come back to the third one and then start tasting all the whiskeys. And then I do the peated one the very last. That way I can still like keep my palate and nose a little bit more fresh.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. And Kimi, if someone wanted to be served by you behind the bar, where can they find you these days?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. I'm doing a lot of different. I got a few more job offers / things I need to confirm by like next month. So like it's all up in the air. But otherwise these days, majority of time Whiskey Element. Sometimes you see me at Goldwater. Couple days a week you see me at Bar Selector. Time to time, once upon a time, you see me at Elysian. Wherever there's a fun dram, fun vibe, fun people, I'm there.
Amazing. Well, Kimi, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations again on becoming Australia's Malt Whisky Tasting Champion.
Thank you.
Cheers.